So we're here at the Bourbon Brainiacs with four new panelists. We got down here Dr. Ryan Ordway from Balchem. Got Dr. Matt Lucy here from the University of Missouri. Dr. Norman St-Pierre from, I guess, are you logging time with Ohio State and Purdue?
It's just the Ohio State
Just the
University.
Ohio State University, or just the, right?
Emeritus.
I've got the shirt that says the.
Yep, national champions.
Exactly.
There you go.
Dr. Paul Kononoff from Nebraska. You're the little engine
National
that
champions.
Yeah, a few years
sports.
ago. Yeah, you've got a good quarterback now. I think you guys are
we'll
going to make
see.
it back. Yeah. So what we're doing today, we're just celebrating the American Dairy Science Association, the association, all that it does for us, and the scientists that make it great. And so we've invited these panelists here today with us just to kind of talk about, some of the things that they enjoy about the American Dairy Science Association, this meeting in particular. What's your favorite one? But before we get started, I wanted to get Dr. Matt Lucy on specifically today because he does a podcast called Dairy Digressions, which is Digressions.
Digressions.
Dairy
Digressions.
There's no discretion.
Discretion to dairy digressions.
We're not using that name for that.
This is a bourbon tasting. I can't say it, but I am a fan. And I wanted to get you on to just to talk a little bit about that. So go ahead, just tell us about the podcast, when it comes out, and what are you trying to accomplish with it? The economics of feeding Reassure precision release choline. Reassure is fed during the transition period, and because it's fed for such a short period of time, it costs just $15 per cow, and yet the benefits will continue to generate income throughout the year. Cows fed Reassure produce 5 pounds more colostrum, which pays for your Reassure investment on the very first day of lactation. Cows fed Reassure also produce 5 pounds more milk per day, every day. That means after the first day, every day is payday. Invest in Reassure during the transition period and recoup your investment on the very first day of lactation. After that, you got it, payday.
Yeah, so it came out of a strategic planning initiative with the American Dairy Science Association, and they felt like they wanted to start a podcast that sort of featured some of their scientists, their scientists, and some of that topics. And so, and we eventually launched that a couple of years ago. It's supported by the American Dairy Science Association. It's not my podcast. I'm the podcast host. And we have people behind the scenes, Jess, and a lot of the heavy lifting is done by Jess. The podcast is recorded, it's edited, it's professionally edited, and then we put out about one podcast a month. And really the objective is just to talk to scientists and sort of demystify the world of the scientists, and also make it a little bit fun and interesting for our listeners. And so we're really proud. We have a very young demographic, not super young, but 35-year-old is the peak in terms of demographic, equally balanced between men and women. And I love to have fun, and I love to ask just crazy questions. And so it gets a little wild, and the word digression is all part of it, okay? It's all part of it, okay? We do get a little off topic at times, but it's been really fun for me, to highlight all the friends that I have. I mean, people go, how do I get on your podcast? Well, you got to be my friend first, So send me a Christmas card at least. No, just kidding. Yeah. There we go. We're digressing already, but but it's really fun. It's really a fun podcast.
Yeah, no. Well, you make it fun, right? I mean, I think that's part of what I like about it is you just kind of have some fun with it. Get some of these scientific podcasts, and it can be kind of boring, but you do a nice job just keeping it flowing and entertaining. So
I think it's important that particularly young people understand that the path to becoming a dairy scientist is not always super linear, and that's what always strikes me is you start asking questions, and we last month we had Adam Locke on there, and he just explained, I was from a dairy in the UK, and I was going to go back and farm with my dad, and then he met Phil Garnsworthy and well, actually, he was never going to go to college, but his dad made him go to college. And this sounds like Adam, Adam,
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It's interesting that kids hear that, because we need, as you guys can appreciate, we need good scientists in dairy. Okay, dairy we have nothing to apologize for the dairy industry, nor milk as a dairy product, and we need good scientists to continue that heritage. Yep. And if we don't train them, and if they don't go into it, then we don't have the good scientists. And so I'll let others talk about that. But I don't think I could go to work every day if I didn't work for an industry that I felt was doing trying to do all the right things, make all the right decisions, feed the world. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could make cell phones. I'm sorry, I don't think I could do it. It's kind of like not my gig, But so it's an honor to be part of this.
Yeah, might be able to do it, but wouldn't enjoy it, right?
It's true, right?
I love it. I love this job. I love the people.
Yeah.
It's just a great industry to be around. Yeah.
You look at this meeting that we're recording at with Balchem, and I look around this room. I probably know half the people here.
Right.
And what other organization can I walk into a place like this and feel totally welcome?
Right.
Bunch of nutritionists too, which is hard for us repro guys. Okay, they're like, I mean, come on, And then who was Mike Vandehar giving a big tip of the hat to the geneticists. Look at all this genetic improvement we've had, and then he throws a little bit to the nutritionist. Well, I guess we had to feed the cows.
They've got to keep up with them.
Yeah, and let me, Mike. Cows got to get pregnant before they get milk. So let's at least. I don't think he learned that. Okay, Like I teach freshmen, in the University of Missouri, and they're 18-year-olds. And first lesson is, okay, cows got to get pregnant to make milk, and they're like, really? Write that down, right? And there's Paul's wife. Oh my gosh! What are you doing? Come on, sit down with us.
Mandy, welcome to the Real Science Exchange.
You haven't met Scott before, have you, Scott?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think
He's
so.
at Balchem. Of course, you know Ryan.
Hi, Mandy.
Hello.
Norman.
This is not going quite the way you thought it was going to go.
It's digressing.
It's already digressed.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt, invite Matt to one podcast.
I know.
Well,
And it gets even better.
I didn't know that Matt was going to be on this. I just thought it was Paul by himself, and then I see Lucy over here running his mouth, and knew it was going to be a long
It's
night.
already digressing. Just wait till Jess Townsend hears this when she's like, we're going to bring you. Oh man, she's normally my caretaker, and she says, stop digressing.
So we're just sitting around talking about what we love about the ADSA, and this is one of them, right?
Yeah.
So I
meeting
do have
with
a
friends.
question.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to hear Mandy's opinion, everybody's opinion,
Oh,
but
no.
Matt, Ryan, and Norman. I actually thought it was quite concerning. One of the questions today at the opening meeting of ADSA is, with some of the funding challenges, how do we protect students? Students are concerned. I think they maybe see a future in dairy science, but I'm kind of curious, Matt. I mean, how is this going to affect students, and what kind of things can we do to support them to find their career in dairy science?
Well, you have to hope that science will prevail. Science has been with us a long time, and the current situation is something that has not. I think what we're going to learn at the end of all this is that science is important, and we need to support science, in the production of food and human health and all these different aspects, and so it's a challenge, but I think I think science will carry the day. I believe science will carry the day.
Why wouldn't science prevail? I mean, it just seems to me like we keep learning so much. And seems like there's so much yet to learn, right?
Right.
That the horizon is almost endless for science, specifically in dairy science.
And I think, like I said earlier, we have such a great story to tell with dairy science. And I would just like to highlight the fact that how important it is that we're able to produce milk economically at a
Yeah.
price that consumers can afford. You know,
Right.
if you look at, I don't want to talk politics, but if you look at what people vote on their pocketbooks, you
Yeah.
know, and let's face it, we are able to produce milk so efficiently, and then make that milk into products that people love. I mean, come on, who doesn't like ice cream, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you know, who doesn't like
I'm kind of a cheese guy. But
cheese
yeah.
guy? Okay, you know, but cheese or cottage cheese or yogurt, all that stuff, and the point of the matter is that I kind of, you know, there's been a lot of drama lately, but I kind of smiled when there was this comment about, well, you need to get all the artificial ingredients out of dairy, and I'm like, dyes and weird stuff in dairy.
Have you looked
Read the
at
label. It
almond
says
juice?
like milk and culture and
Right.
maybe salt. You
Right.
know, and it's true. It's as close to a natural food as you can get. And I always remind people we've been through 200 million years of mammalian evolution, and I don't think 200 million years would lead to a food that would kill you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it ain't there. You know, and I also think it's so important that when you look at all the epidemiological data of all the things we should or should not eat, I can't think of a study where it said don't eat dairy foods.
Yeah.
You know, it's safe to consume and it's good for you. So that's me, but you know, I'm kind of crazy. But and I digress.
Yeah.
Scott,
Yet again.
your question has two sides. The first one is science, and the second one was funding.
Yeah.
The science part, we're partly guilty because we have portrayed science as being infallible, perfect, the truth, and it is not. It converges towards that, and it's self-correcting. That's the process, and that's the important part. We have made a lot of mistakes with science, but it does correct itself, whereas other methods of acquisition of knowledge do not. The funding is a different one. I have seen in my lifetime a greater and greater and greater proportion of funding that goes to indirect costs at universities and foundation, the institutes. And that's where the problem lies. Universities have, not until now, been put under pressure for efficiency. If your budget, you had 65% overhead on, you would not survive for very long because your competition would work with much less than that. When people look, why has tuition increased at 5-6% per year? Has your salary ever gone up by 5-6% per
No.
year?
3%.
Twice.
Yeah. Right.
When you got promoted from assistant to associate,
sure,
and
yeah.
associate to full. After that, when you get 2%, you go home and you drink. And that's the issue. You have more and more and more in a growing bureaucracy at universities. And if this forces suddenly the realization of that and the realignment of this, maybe we can live with a bit fewer deans,
Yeah.
and we'd do fine.
Yeah. Interesting. I just listened to a podcast. I don't know if you ever listened to Andrew Huberman, but he had a podcast with the director of the NIH.
Yep.
It was fascinating, and they talked a lot about this overheads. They talked about research. I need to forward that to you. I need to listen to it again because it was fascinating. I thought every scientist that I'm involved with needs to hear this thing because it was just, it was gold.
And part of that is external forces. When the federal government sends money, then you need to send the reports where the money has gone. And suddenly you have 3 people tracking $1. And so the efficiency of that, they should track the millions, they should track the tens of thousands. There's a point where when I go and buy glue at the grocery store on Sunday to go and patch up the patch on a cow, and I don't have a receipt, I don't think this is, but again, just going back to the education, we have a great education system, higher education system. The research we've had in dairy science has today, up till today, been very good. They also should understand that the machine there is the faculty and the graduate students. Leave them alone. If you want Matt to be creative, don't ask him to report 50 times a year about what he's doing. Let him do it. And that's the crux of, to me, the problem as I look at it from an economic basis.
Great point. You want to answer your own question you asked us a little while ago?
You know, basically my question is how do we support students to find their career? And I have to say that's been, I know when I got into my career early, I thought science is what is going to drive and inspire me, and that is still there. But I think, what I find so cool is, and I find in some ways even more inspiring, is the opportunity to work with students to help them find their career. And really enjoyed, as I think everybody here knows, I'm originally from Canada. I came to the U.S., and it's been fun to move to the U.S., and obviously the land-grant institution's given me tremendous opportunity. It's coming from federal funds, state funds, and then just the opportunity to be entrepreneurial with funds, to reach out to private companies and use funds from private companies to push science forward and to also push students out to help them find their careers. And I think this happens in many countries, but I have to say the United States does it in a special way. And it does so moving the science forward, moving the field forward, on the farm, and then delivering students. And that's by far been my most gratifying way to help these students with concerns, because it's not just all federal funds. And when the federal funds aren't there, there is the private sector that is willing to contribute and needs the students, absolutely needs the students, right? Just in the last month, I've had several private companies reach out and say, Paul, we know that you're training students with skills that we need. Who are they? How close are they to graduating? And unfortunately, right now in our group, we're a couple years away. But there's a real need for these students as well. So I guess I would just leave it at that. I mean, we've got to be creative with funds. And when the federal funds are a little jagged, private sector, I think, can help and move in.
Excellent. Matt, if you don't mind if I digress.
Oh,
but,
yes. Yes.
One of the things we were talking about earlier was what's your favorite part of the ADSA? I mean, how many have you been to over the years?
Tonight's last call question is brought to you by NitroSure Precision Release Nitrogen. NitroSure delivers a complete TMR for the rumen microbiome, helping you feed the microbes that feed your cows. To learn more about maximizing microbial protein output while reducing your carbon footprint, visit balchem.com/nitrosure.
Well, I started at Kansas State in graduate school in 83, so I probably went to 84, 85. And then you know what happened? So I was a member since 83, but then they rejected one of my papers. I canceled my membership. Take that, Journal of Dairy Science. So I was away in the wilderness for a little while, but then I came back. Okay, and and I was lucky because what happened in my world was. It's just a family. It's a family organization, And in this world, we need family. And what's so interesting about this family is most of them you don't see all that often. You see them at this meeting, but it's like you just pick up where you left off. And when you get involved with ADSA and get involved in dairy science research, you just meet a lot of great people. I mean, super people, super talented. And so, I only know one type of science, that's dairy science, but oftentimes you hear maybe the competitiveness between labs, and I'm not going to share that information with so-and-so because I don't want that lab to know what we're doing and stuff like that. And you never really get that sense among dairy scientists. I think because we have a common goal. Our common goal is sort of the production of milk for human consumption. And maybe Paul will tell us based on ChatGPT, what our real goal is. But
real scope.
The real scope of the dairy science, that's another digression, but it's really great. You might have to bleep it out, but I don't know. But
we do edit heavily. So.
We do edit heavily. But, I come here and I look, again, it's the people that really keeps bringing you back. I can't imagine my life without this organization and the people that I've met. I've got a question for Mandy. Can I ask a question
Absolutely.
for Mandy?
Yep.
Mandy's been quite quiet over there.
I'm just taking it all in. Listen to all you people not
So,
talk about how to support students.
Mandy's a scientist as well. I think she works with rats or something, you know, and I don't know.
Mouse
Not
farmer.
Paul. I didn't mean Paul. I mean, you know, the little ones in the laboratory cages.
The little white ones?
The little white ones.
Tie him up. Do
Tie
something.
'em up. I mean, mice? I don't know what you work with. Amoebas? I don't know. You're
Do you want to really actually know? So, is it,
not really, but I
was-
enjoy like listing all the different species I know.
I see that stream
okay?
of consciousness is just.
The stream of So what do you think? You're a scientist. I think you're a scientist. You're with UNL.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of our meeting?
Yeah, what do you think of our meeting?
Say something nice,
no,
Mandy. All right.
Well, so my area of training was in neuroscience, and so I have enough just to be able to follow along with quite a few of the opening conversations and the opening arguments, and I do believe that you need some human behaviorists when you start thinking about how to get your
Well,
milk
when you
out
look at
there.
But I
Non-dairy
will
scientist.
side with you on this, Mandy.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I came in.
That Matt.
I did not come from the dairy industry. I mean, my parents worked for the Department of Defense, so I came into the industry, and I'm still, after a lot of years, am, I'll say, appalled at how insulated the dairy industry is and doesn't communicate with the consumer.
That's all of
Interesting.
agriculture.
And
That's all of
I think it's
agriculture.
probably all of science.
But it's not
Yeah.
all of agriculture, because my new role is I cover monogastrics as well. And you look at swine industry, you look at the poultry industry, that vertical integration has negatives, right, from an economic perspective to the degree.
Not economics.
From
Social.
social, right? Economics, they can control their costs a lot better, but they know the consumer. And Balchem, I mean, we're a human food company as well as an animal nutrition company. Our human side of our business knows the consumer. You come to the animal side, we talk to nutritionists, we talk to veterinarians, we talk to even, repro people.
Yeah,
if we
you
have
to
to,
talk
if we
to
have
us.
to.
Yeah. If your cow's not pregnant, yeah. And
But what we don't do is we don't know who is consuming our products.
interesting.
And then
Interesting.
if you look at the nutrient concentration of dairy products
Yeah.
compared to a lot of other foodstuffs that are out there, it's amazing.
It is
right?
amazing, yeah.
Does the average person know that? The people talking about funding, the people that are coming into the industry, into graduate programs, a lot of them now aren't coming from farms. And I think that's part of getting the people in, is us getting that message out. And I think we're failing at that.
Okay, interesting.
So, Scott, I have a question for the two older gentlemen here. I'm not going to say who the older gentlemen are, but
I don't even know. Are you talking about Norm?
I'm curious. So I agree. Like, the community that comes here is very similar year in and year out, and that's one of the things I enjoy. The format and the locations have changed drastically since you guys first started coming to the meetings. I'm curious the location of your first couple meetings and what you remember about those meetings. It wasn't at a fancy hotel.
Well, first meeting of ADSA I attended was at Virginia Tech in 1980. I could speak about 5 words of English then, so I had literally...
You've increased to 10.
Father, mother, strawberry, I love you. And so I had memorized the 12 minutes of my presentation. It's on campus, so you were staying in a dorm.
Yeah.
And then you were bringing your carousel, your Kodak
Slide
carousel
carousel.
with the slides in. And man, did you hope that
did
nothing
drop
would
it.
happen to that, because it would have been a disaster.
And you prepared them like 3 weeks before the meeting. None
Well,
of this last
Yeah.
at least I literally memorized 12 minutes.
Yeah.
and half of it I didn't know what I was saying. So imagine if you were going to Russia and you memorized the talk in Russian, and somebody in there could have put a real nasty sentence. You wouldn't know.
Is there a recording of this somewhere?
This was
That was before recordings existed.
But so things have changed, and probably for the better. When you say the constancy, there's a constant evolution also. The younger students, the graduate students today, are world apart from where we were and where I'm at today, and it's probably for the better. The technology and the access to information have, we remember a time where the internet did not exist. We didn't have emails. When I did my postdoc in New Zealand, I had to use the phone at $3 a minute to call home. And so we had 10 minutes a month. That was it. We put what we were going to say on a cheat card, and that was it. So a lot of things that evolved for the better. And what was said at one point today, I agree with. We hear AI, and I see a lot of reluctance to AI. Well, like any new technology and any new media coming in, there's going to be some pluses and minuses. So we're going to have to curb the negative out, but it's going to do some absolutely wonderful things. If you think you're going to lose your job because of AI, think about all the jobs it's going to create. So it's no different than when the automobile came about, and the guy who was taking care of the horses lost their job, right? But now you have automobile mechanics. And so what it means, you're going to need some retraining, you're going to need, but it's going to offer real opportunities. The United States, unless it changes, has allowed the harboring of discovery like nowhere else in the world, which is why of the 25 largest public corporations in the world, 23 are Americans. Out of the 10, 9 of them are Americans. They're just the Arab oil company. The stock market in the U.S., public stock worldwide is about 125 trillion. The U.S. is approaching 70 trillions of stock being traded. We represent the driving force in innovations. All we can do is screw it up. And that's what I'm concerned. The downside of this is it does create inequities. That is, when we talk about food, what I'm always concerned is, let's face it, we're in the top 5%. And so what we hear is what the top 5% think. The bottom 20% of the United States wake up in the morning wondering what they're going to eat today. That's food insecurity. They do eat, but they're not too concerned about the quality, but let's see what we can get. Go and look at the food banks.
She agrees with you.
Is that I don't know what that is. Like,
not important for everybody.
Is that Paul? We're supposed to lead now, or how does that work?
I'm just feeling very validated at the moment.
You're validated.
Yes.
Well, we're going to have to invalidate something.
Come on, Norm, don't leave me hanging.
The other thing I'm going to talk about the nutrition. It's when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And we have absolutely overemphasized the importance of nutrition in longevity, lifestyle, and all of that. There's no question. In cows, Bill Weiss and I, for 5 years, ran trial where really the treatment was, let's see how we can screw the cows. Let me tell you, they're hard to screw.
Yeah.
They're really, you need to really hammer them down. They're really resilient because the million years of natural selection had made them that they're not dependent whether you're going to have the 0.15 grams of protein today as opposed to tomorrow. They have buffered that way. Now, they're not the wild animals anymore, but they're much more resilient than most nutritionists would think, and so are humans. A lot of what we hear in human are based on correlation. And there's no cause, it's just association. And so when they say the people who eat this are sicker, well, yeah, but guess what? They watch a whole lot more television. They don't move. And so I'm just cautioning with that. That is the progress we've made. The nice thing about dairy science and about research in animals is we can have control research. It's really hard to do research with humans. Every time you go and you ask them, what is it that you eat? They're wrong by 50%. They do not. What did you eat on Friday? And how much?
I don't know.
So you might remember you had mashed potatoes, but how much? And what is a portion? And then you take the can of, what do you mean, in this little bag I have 3 portions? So,
Right.
you know, so.
Who looks at that?
Yeah, and so very often we jump In human nutrition, they will do also research on animals where the treatments are 10x what the humans would be exposed. And so I have said, if you were doing that with water, force somebody to drink 10 times more water than they normally do, you'd kill them. And so water is toxic. And so a lot of that applies to nutrition as well. So these people start panicking about what's in their food. And there's some stuff that probably should be withdrawn, but it's not because something is natural that it is good. Some of the worst poison ever invented have been invented by nature. And it's not because it's synthetic that it's bad, because in fact the engineers can control and have the exact molecule without all the contaminants around. And so we have to move away from this idea that, it's natural and it's good. There's just some good stuff. I don't think there's bad food. There's just some food that if you consume too much, it becomes bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a whole bag of potato chip is bad. 2 chips are not going to kill you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like potato chips.
Yeah.
I eat them every day. I mean, I don't really know, but the Lay's potato chips. It's
Lay's,
potato.
we have 2 Pennsylvanians.
You can't eat just one.
Go Pennsylvania.
Potato chips. All it is potatoes, oil, and salt. I mean, there's nothing more natural than oil and salt, is there?
No.
It's a great preservative.
I mean, come on.
What's your favorite Pennsylvania potato chip?
Oh, there's a lot of them. Or that or pretzels.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm originally from Chambersburg, so I'm a little partial to K and Ray's. It's from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania.
I mean, I did not know it was a thing, potato chips in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Do
I
they
think
have
were
potatoes in
invented in
We're the
Pennsylvania?
number
Could be
one
some-
producer of
I mean,
potato
like-
chips in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
What's
what?
your favorite one?
That would be Middlesworth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
You know,
love Middlesworth.
I grew up in Syracuse, New York, and Pennsylvania was just that annoying state you had to drive through to get to Florida. I mean,
And the New Yorkers were the annoying people that drove
and
through.
then forget it if you're going
Pennsylvania,
this way. I mean,
Right.
east-west Pennsylvania.
Oh,
I
the
did that
roads.
yesterday,
It's
by the way.
terrible.
Torture.
But
yeah.
that's
You've got
another
apples.
story.
We had potato chips and pretzels.
Okay,
you know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
beer.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you know,
Double
and-
starch everything.
and let's just
Mashed
Triple.
potatoes and corn.
No, you forgot
That's the corn's a
Trash talk.
vegetable.
Trash
It is a
talk.
vegetable, and you forgot the bread. It's actually a triple starch. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you for joining us today for this episode of Dairy Digressions and the Real Science Exchange. We hope you learned something. I know you had some fun, and I hope to see you next time here at the Real Science Exchange, where it's always happier and you're always among friends.
We'd love to hear your comments or ideas for topics and guests, so please reach out via email at anh.marketing@balchem.com with any suggestions, and we'll work hard to add them to the schedule. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on your way out. You can request your Real Science Exchange t-shirt in just a few easy steps. Just like or subscribe to the Real Science Exchange and send us a screenshot along with your address and t-shirt size to anh.marketing@balchem.com. Balchem's Real Science Lecture Series of webinars takes place on the first Tuesday of every month, with the top research and nutrition topics that will impact your business. We also include small ruminant, monogastric, and companion animal-focused topics throughout the year. Visit balchem.com/realscience to see the upcoming topics and to register for future webinars. You can also access past webinars and search for the topics most important to you.